Good evening, dear comrades. It's wonderful to see you all again. And we haven't spoken much since July, but I see there's a lot of excitement that has happened in between. So it's actually fantastic to see you tonight. You know, where I come from, most people would consider the rain outside as a bit of an inconvenience. But my family line comes from the Northern Cape. And there we consider rain as an absolute blessing. If it's 5 drops, we call it rain. If it rains like today, we call it a flood. So this is absolutely an amazing, amazing evening this. And tonight it's absolutely wonderful to welcome you to the Vice-Chancellor's Innovative Business Idea Awards. And all of you are so special here tonight because you are the guys who behind the scenes applied your minds and came up with great ideas, and we can't wait to hear what you've come up with and who will kind of eventually get those heavy checks that Moipone has carried around tonight. I actually tried to peep, but I couldn't see a single name. So she's done a good job, and she actually pushed me away so that I can't fiddle and see what's going on. But you know what? This wonderful evening actually reminds me of a wonderful poet that I got to know a couple of years ago. And the guy's name is Rilke. He's a German poet. And this poem was written when he was about 85 years old, and he was looking out of the window at the last part of the summer, and he wrote a few lines which tells us so much about entrepreneurship. And in this poem he says, "And already the last fruits of summer are growing red, and the old flowers hardly breathe in their beds. Whoever is rich now that summer, not rich now that summer goes, will wait and wait and wait and never be themselves." And what the poet says is, you know what? You can't reap unless you've sown and you prepared the soil. That's as simple as it is. If you haven't applied your mind and understand your market, put your thoughts on paper, did the calculations and the sums to see whether this thing net profit here at the bottom actually realize, and whether you've got the goods and the capacity to get the job done, nothing will happen. That's how it is. And then he continues and he says, you know what? We harvest different things in different times in our lives. When you go to school, you harvest matric. Then you say, oh my goodness, now I'm at UJ. Now it's a total different story. I have to harvest something different now. And when you go out, you think, oh, I got my first degree. Then you realize, oh my goodness, this is my first job. I have to harvest again. And then you get married. Oh my goodness, now you really have to harvest and play and so on. And then your first child is born. Same story again. It never stops. But you know the magic of this thing is that sometimes things go well up to a point, and then life happens. And then you have to pick up the pieces and move on. And that journey continues. And this is where this thing called resilience or bounce back comes in. And this is such an important part of an entrepreneur's life, isn't that so? To always take the best learning and to move on. And then as you accumulate the things and you harvest and you harvest and you harvest, you've got lots of things, you eventually end up realizing something very important. You know what? At the end of all of this, what makes the journey worthwhile is the relationships that you've built with other people while you've done so. And you'll probably see in the teams and where you've worked together, you've probably built this sense of camaraderie, and that takes you through the dark times. So isn't this wonderful, in just by reflecting on this poem, to welcome these budding young entrepreneurs here. And you excite us because you will take it further and make a success of life when we are not there anymore. So tonight I'd like to welcome all our stakeholders. Now you've seen this is the Vice-Chancellor's Innovative Business Idea Awards, and what a pleasure to welcome our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Arden Rensburg, tonight here. So Professor, you are the captain of the UJ ship, and isn't it wonderful that you are today here on the deck at the Faculty of Management deck, and you celebrate with us. Welcome here, sir. And then I'd like to say now one of you clapping because the VC sponsored half of the awards. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome all our external stakeholders. So many members of our industry here tonight, some of our current colleagues, some of our future colleagues. I'm specifically, we've met tonight and already the ideas are coming through. And thank you very much, not just for your commitment to UJ, but for your commitment to the future and developing future fit leaders, as we call them in our faculty. Thank you very much for that. And then more specifically, I'd like to welcome Ayanda Makula, the acting CEO of the National Youth Development Agency, and Dr. Margaret Kosi, Technology Innovation Agency, TIA, and Daryl Bakunski, our Managing Director of Student Brand, And then I'd also like to say welcome to all our internal colleagues. Vice Dean Prof Jane Spard, who takes the CSBD under her wing, and it's great to have you here tonight with Jane, and all our colleagues from the CSBD and from all the other departments who are supporting the CSBD. It's wonderful to have you with us. So, Comrade Program Director, I think I'm done now. So over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to you, Jay. Welcome to the faculty, and have a splendid evening with us. Thank you.